A very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us again on Almond Finance and Wealth Reports this week. As you know, we are source for latest happening information in the financial sector of the nation's economy. My name is Faith Wadi. On this edition of the program, we'll kick off by bringing you the continuation of our exclusive interview with the Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, Mr. Olusegun Oshinowo. Plus, we also bring you highlights of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry private sector dialogue with the Central Bank of Nigeria that took place recently at the LCCI Conference and Exhibition Center, Alausa, Ikeja, here in Lagos. The theme was foreign exchange policy. As expected, the business community turned out in their numbers, battle ready for officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria. These are more what we have for you on the lineup this week, so I urge you as always to sit back, relax, and spend this time with us. But all the details are coming to you after this break. Please stay with us.
My name is Wale Onoolako and I watch Almond Finance.
Speaking about that, I know it's also a challenge you've had in the private sector. You hear issues of double taxation and all of that. What is NECA doing in that direction as relates to your members?
First, we must recognize the fact that on account of our federal structure, which is backed up by our constitution, there will be multiple layers of taxes. There will be taxation at the federal level, there will be taxation at the state level, there will be taxation at the local level. We just must accept that on account of our federal structure. So we must not mistake the issue of multiple taxation with double taxation. When we're actually talking of double taxation, we are talking of a situation and circumstance where the tax that exists at a particular level of government is being replicated or duplicated at another level of government. And that's always been our issue. And I can give an example. Take value-added tax. That's just a very good example.
I was going to come to that.
Right, which is a consumption tax. Now, position is that because value-added tax is a consumption tax, any attempt by any other level of government, whether at the federal level, or whether at the state level, or at the local level, and by whatever name they might want to call it, for as long as it has the outlook and the notion of consumption, it will amount to double tax. And that's an issue we've been fighting for a while. And at a point in time, our association, in collaboration with a sectoral association, considered going to court with government on it. Right. So it's still a problem in this environment. And it might, in fact, be a problem that we assume a bigger dimension in the light of the shrinking fiscal space of the states and the local government. But we're not going to take our leg off the throttle in trying to fight double taxation in this environment.
Okay, so moving on. Now, you've talked so much and so well about the roles and duties of NECA. Now, is NECA open to employers in Nigeria, all employers in Nigeria? Can people in small-scale companies, for example, with about just say 5 or 10 employees, be members of NECA?
Well, it's as if you have even read our constitution. because the threshold number for membership of NECA is actually 5 employees. Oh. If you're running a business and you have 5 employees, you qualify to pick up membership of NECA, right? And we do allow such businesses their own space to do their own thing, because almost 95% of the big companies in Nigeria are members of NECA. Okay. And there might be the tendency for the small businesses out there to say that, oh, will I be able to
It's
rub shoulders with the
okay.
big boys? But that's not really the case.
Okay.
We do create space for our members that belong to the category of micro and small scale businesses to come together and do their things, identify issues that are of interest to them, and then leverage the network and the influence of the association to push those things. And we have in fact moved to a much higher level by recognizing gender in business, which actually informed the creation of the NECAS network of entrepreneurial women some 11, 12 years ago. And that's one group now that has well over 500 women businesses. Again, we've created the space for the women to do their own thing. And that organization, which is more or less like a subsidiary of NECA, has chapters in Port Harcourt and Abuja. And they're doing pretty well in supporting women businesses to grow in this environment through capacity building and through advocacy. And they've done so well that they've equally identified some other value propositions they can deliver to their members. They have a vibrant cooperative, which actually lend money to members. And just a couple of months back, they established a microfinance bank, which is really the first in West Africa. So we've made sure that we are gender sensitive and that we ensure that the interests of women in business are protected and promoted in the course of delivering our mandates.
Okay, so beyond a company having a minimum of 5 employees, what's other criteria? Maybe someone is watching and say, okay, I would like to join, become a member of NECA. What are the criteria, broadly speaking, of becoming a member of the association?
I think the key thing really is just the threshold of 5 employees.
Okay.
Right. We may go out to be sure that you are not a ghost company. We want to be sure that we're actually dealing with a tangible company that exists. So we do go out and make sure that you have a factory premises. We show that you are involved in activities that are considered to be legitimate and legal, right? Because we pride ourselves as an organization that is corporately responsible. And we want each and every company that is coming under our umbrella, right, to have that same outlook of a legitimate and legal business in Nigeria.
Okay. Let's talk about the welfare of employees, the compulsory group life insurance under the 2014 Pension Reform Act. It's one way for employers to look at the welfare of their workers. So what efforts has NECA, when I say NECA, your members who are under your umbrella of NECA, made to ensure that its members are actually complying with the compulsory group life insurance?
One thing you will find out about NECA is that we've been recognized as the statutory representative of employers all over Nigeria on social matters. What do I mean by statutory representative of employers? When you examine the act setting up most governmental schemes that border on social products, you find NECA as part of the representatives of the private sector on the governing board of those councils. If you check the act setting up PENCOM, NECA is explicitly stated there as the representative of the employers. If you check the act setting up the NHIS, National Health Insurance Scheme, NECA has a seat on the board. NSITF, NECA has a seat on the board. ITF, NECA has a seat on the board, which now provides us the channel, right, to utilize our voice, right, to ensure that those governmental organizations live up to expectation. And as a member of the governing council of PENCOM from the time PENCOM was created, PENCOM and NECA have been running a yearly interactive program in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja principally. And the whole idea is just to enlighten employers on their responsibilities under the Act setting up the pension reform. And we've been a good protector of the interests of both employers and employees, yes, as far as the issue of pension is concerned. And what I actually meant by that is, if PENCOM is having challenge with any of our members in this environment, even though PENCOM is statutorily empowered to invoke sanction, PENCOM will look in our direction first, and it actually makes sense and it saves time, and it equally assures you of a quicker result because we have the reach to talk to those companies.
But beyond talking, is there something, if you have an erring member of the association, is there something that NECA can do to such members, for example?
I must say that outside moral suasion,
yeah,
all we can do is just to let that members know that, look, if you continue in your bad ways, we encourage the custodian of the law to invoke the full weight of the law on you. We do say that to our members, but we start with moral suasion. And honestly, I've been here for a while. I've never seen a situation where those employers ignore our advice on those issues. They've come to respect us because they know that we'll be fair to them, and at the same time, we'll be firm when it comes to complying with the law of the land. He who must go to equity must go with clean hands. So we always say, make sure you obey the law of the land. Then if there are other issues you consider to be untowards in terms of the dispositions of those regulatory bodies to you, we can then, on the basis of the fact that you have discharged your own responsibility, stand up to them. Right.
Okay, now, what would you consider today as the biggest challenge faced by employers in Nigeria?
You know, we are a body that advocates on behalf of employers. And in the course of our advocacy, we engage all levels of government and all manners of government organizations. Some of them do give us the space to engage them. Some of them are rather disdainful and contemptuous of engagement and dialogue. Probably out of the fact that they do not realize the fact that there's in fact an ILO convention that encourages social dialogue between representative organizations and government agencies. That's one key challenge. I could remember the running battle we've been having with the Consumer Protective Council of Nigeria, and I just could not understand the disposition of that government agency. I cannot understand why somebody will be saying, let's discuss, let's have a meeting, and the agency will be disdainful of dialogue. And that's one issue we cannot really understand, which is why we have said, fine, we've given you the opportunity to have a chat with us on issues that are of interest of interest to our members. If you don't want to discuss, then we go to court. And that's exactly where we are now. And there are other agencies of government that have shown good examples. PENCOM has been excellent. The NSITF has been excellent. The NHIS have been excellent. These are governmental organizations that understand dialogue, and we sit down with employers because they've come to the realization that we are all working towards the same objective, and that's the objective of developing Nigeria as an economy and delivering social products on the doorsteps of Nigeria. So for us, there are quite a number of governmental agencies that we need to purge of their arrogance and their disdain. It should not be tolerated in a democratic dispensation, right? And honestly, we're going to stand up to those organizations.
The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is the oldest and largest chamber of commerce in Nigeria. It was founded in 1888 and incorporated in 1950 as a non-profit making organization limited by guarantee under the Companies Act of 1948. The primary objective of the chamber is to promote, support, or oppose legislation or other measures affecting trade, industry, commerce, and agriculture, as well as representing the opinion of the business community. The LCCI recently put together its private sector dialogue with the Central Bank of Nigeria. The theme was Foreign Exchange Policy, which was held at the LCCI Conference and Exhibition Center, Alausa, Ikeja. Welcoming guests to the dialogue, the president of the LCCI, Alhaji Remi Bello, said the aim of the dialogue series is to provide a platform for the CBN to enlighten the public and promote its value proposition.
These developments mean different things to different people. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has made preliminary comments on some of these policies. We are concerned in particular that some intermediate products are on the list of 41 items excluded from the foreign exchange market. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are in a democracy. Participation and engagement are some of the important tenets of democracy. The purpose of this gathering, therefore, is to constructively engage the CBN on some of its policies, especially the ones relating to the management of foreign exchange. It is a platform for stakeholders to ventilate their concerns and apprehensions on the various policies of the CBN.
Since September 1986, when the market-determined exchange rate system was introduced via the second-tier foreign exchange markets, the Naira exchange rate has exhibited the features of continuous depreciation and instability. The CBN has been consistently battling to control the foreign exchange rates through various policies. Explaining the latest efforts of the CBN on foreign exchange policy was Mr. Tule Moses, Director, Monetary Policy, Central Bank of Nigeria.
No economy is run by foreign exchange. Foreign exchange doesn't just come to exist in an economy. A child is not born until there's a meeting between the man and the woman before pregnancy can occur. Foreign exchange is created by the level of economic activity in an economy. And that is one. And that level of economic activity must be such that the economic agents will be able to export it and earn foreign currency and bring it back in their country. An economy where its economic agents earn foreign exchange and keep it out there simply means you are fetching water from a bucket and you are not replenishing the content of that bucket. Someday it will dry. In our case, we had a bucket and the contents of that bucket was consistently being filled with inflows from oil. Then suddenly, and as long as the oil price was right, we didn't have to have this kind of a round table because the central bank was doing everything possible to ensure that Nigerian businesses exist, they had the right access to foreign exchange, and they were able to create employment.
Many believe that the continued depreciation of the Naira in the foreign exchange markets has resulted in decline in the standard of living of the populace. Sharing his thoughts on the new CBN law restricting foreign exchange to certain items, One of the panelists, Mr. George Onafowokon, MD CEO, Coleman Wire and Cables Limited, said that classifying raw materials as finished goods shows that the CBN lacks understanding.
We are of the view that some of it has not been thought through fully, and I'll explain why. With some, we totally agree. I'm not in objection to private jet because it's not really an industrial sector in this country. But I have an issue where you classify raw materials as finished goods, and I think it's lack of understanding. Why I say it's lack of understanding is what you have done is not banning. But if you go back to even banning, where the government actually made its policy on banning, they listed HS codes and defined it. Now, to me, this 40 list or 41 list is like an excuse for nobody gets it. And I'll go back to what I mean by nobody gets it. During November, the same CBN actually put out a policy, a circular, moving certain number of lists of companies or industries out of the ALDAS into the interbank. I'm telling you for a fact that a lot of people did not even get money that were qualified to be ALDAS representatives. I'll give you as myself, I'm a manufacturer. My product was going into the word called orders. And for CBN, if you understand what that means, when your Forex request is coming back and the word orders is stated, because they cannot, one, I don't have the funds, but I cannot turn you down because you qualify under the orders, but I don't have funds to give you. So it defeats the purpose.
Other participants also took turns to ask questions.
Is there going to be an imminent devaluation of the exchange rate? Because we've heard before the election that the government is trying to hold back because of the elections coming up, not to devalue further, just to ensure that the new government comes in, or whether the existing government was going to continue. There's so much tension out there, so we want the CBN to please tell us if there's actually going to be a devaluation or not.
Talking about the vegetable oil industry, when you remove our raw material, the vegetable oil refinery will close.
As a result of the inconsistency in CBN control of the foreign exchange rates, a good number of small and medium-scale enterprises have been strangled out as a result of the low dollar-naira exchange rates, and so many other problems resulting from the fluctuations in exchange rates can also be identified. This movement of the exchange rates along the path of depreciation since 1986 has raised a lot of questions on the impact of exchange rate policies on the Nigerian economy.
All right, that's our time on this edition of the program. I do hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I always say here, for comments, questions, observations, do feel free to get in touch with us on 017763981 or 08033357879. Or better still, send us an email, almond4xx@yahoo.com or almondproduction@gmail.com. You can also visit us on our website, almondreports.com. Like us on our Facebook page, Almond Finance and Wealth Reports, and view past episodes of this program on our YouTube channel, Almond Reports TV. Join us every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m. live on Nigeria FM 102.7 for our Pidgin English program called Waiting Insurance They Do Serve. Don't forget also to connect with us on WhatsApp via our number 08033357879. If you miss any part of today's episode, join us again for the repeat broadcast on Wednesday by 2:30 p.m. right here on the station. On the same time, same station next week when we come your way with a fresh package of this program. My name is Faith Uwade. From all of us here, it's goodbye.